Well, welcome to Noel's World of Whiskey, and we're going to continue on with the Glenmorangie line. We focused on the last few reviews on this guy here, then we did a kind of shootout, a comparison between these two, the old-timer and the new guy, 18-year-olds. And now we are going to go to a little bit more rare whiskey in terms of its cask finishing, and this is a Palo Cortado. And to understand a little bit about Palo Cortado, you have to understand a little bit about Amontillado and the famous story that Edgar Allan Poe wrote, A Cask of Amontillado. That was my first introduction to Amontillado. But Amontillado is, in the Fino whiskies, are a result of yeast strains that are actually right within the barrel. These barrels are worth a lot of money because each one is quite unique. And they produce a flora, a film. And what it does, it prevents the sherry from oxidizing. And these are fairly valuable casks. Now, something happens every so often. It's 1 to 2% of the time. Something happens with the flora. The sherry deviates and it loses that film. And basically, where the name Palo Cortado came from was, Palo means it's a slanted line, and whenever they were producing these whiskeys, these Amontillados, they would use this Palo line. So what happens is that when it deviates, they run a cross line through that diagonal line. It's called cut line, or Palo Cortado. Cortado means cut, and of course Palo is line. So Palo Cortado was actually from the master wine blenders, and that were in charge of the casks. And they kept an eye open for this process that would happen by nature, by sheer accident. These casks are rare. Very, very small percentage of sherry is a Palo Cortado. Now, they did cheat a bit by mixing the end result, which is an Oloroso, with a Amontillado and produce, but let's face it, an expensive Amontillado is not going to be mixed with an expensive Oloroso. It's going to be a cheap, more commercial grade. So we don't see that very much today. But anyways, these casks are costly. I've had a few Palo Cortados before. And I'm thinking I had one that was a Fettercard. I think it was the second release. It was a partially, it might have been a PX and Palo Cortado. The Dewar's 27 Double Double, which I haven't covered there, it is also finished in a Palo Cortado. Royal Bracla 18. I believe that I had a Deanston 21 that was Palo Cortado. I'm just trying to think of any of the others, but they've always been very, very interesting. So this is new to me. But anyways, the price is actually better here in Canada, and proportionally speaking, compared to, let's say, a Quinta Rubin or a Nectar or some of the other presentations. It's actually a very good price here in Canada. So I was really lucky to get this for 99 bucks Canadian, which is definitely a good price on this. If you were comparing our dollar elsewhere in the world, you understand that's not a bad price. So anyways, we're going to get into opening this guy, and let's enough talking, and let's do a taste and get this guy into a glass. Anyways, let's pour ourselves a dram. Now, there's no information on here whether this is colored or chill filtered, so I will have to say it is possibly colored, possibly chill filtered, but it did come from a cask that does produce a dark color. So when I look at this, I do not see a lot of, and I'm going to bring it up to the camera here, but I do not see a lot of color to this. It's kind of a light, almost a little bit of a reddish sherry color, so a reddish amber, we'll say, maybe. Okay, you know how this works. We do about a minute for every year in the cask here. In the cask is 12 years, so that, well, we'll give it an extra few minutes, let's say 15 minutes for this Palo Cortado. And we'll see you back here, 15 minutes.
Glenmorangie 12-year-old Palo Cortado is matured for 8 years in ex-bourbon barrels, and then it is finished for 4 years in Palo Cortado casks. These barrels come from their own forests in the Ozarks in Missouri. They are built into barrels and then aired for 2 years. They are then rented to both Jack Daniels and Heavenly Hill, where they're filled with bourbon for 4 years. These barrels are then emptied and sent back to Scotland. Glenmorangie 12-year-old Palo Cortado is bottled at 46% ABV.
Well, welcome back, and we are ready to give this the nose. Glenmorangie 12 Palo Cortado. Definitely lots of sweet and sour going on here. Fruity, some peaches, and even getting a little bit of vanilla. Peaches, zesty, lemons, limes, maybe even a bit of grapefruity stuff going on here. Yeah, and now we're getting a little bit of the nuttiness. I'm going to say lots of floral. We're in a flower garden here. Ooh, wee bit of herbal stuff going on there. It's sort of come on the tail end here. Herbal, maybe a little bit of mustiness there. Wow. Get a little bit of woody stuff going on. Maybe even the sort of dunnage from the dunnage warehouse. Okay. Right into the palate. Solange. Very rich for a Glenmorangie. Now, when you do the nose, you get a little bit of a surprise with the palate, because the palate has got quite a bit of spice going on here, and I didn't mention any spice because I think it was a little bit overpowering, the sweet, the sour, the fruit on the nose, but we add water, I'm certain I'll pick up on it. But lots of spice. I'm getting the cinnamon and the getting a little bit of ginger, baking spices, maybe some cloves, nutmeg. A bit of a drying effect here. To a really nice way. A nice mouthfeel to this, like it coats your mouth. I think the cherry notes they're starting to dominate now. Interesting. The nose I got was much lighter than the palate, but still lots in the nose, eh? But I mean, every time I do a Palo Cortado, it's a bit different. Like this is going to be different than, let's say, the Deanston I did, or the Fettercarn. It's definitely different. I'm going to top that one up for the palate. I'm definitely getting I'm getting the sherry, but not quite the same Oloroso hit that I normally get. It's when you're talking about that mustiness and that, well, there's something there, and I've had it in other whiskeys, and I'm going to just use the word musty until something else comes. But it adds to the depth of the richness. I'm going to throw leather in right now. Definitely some leather. These are things I should have picked up on the nose, but for some reason the nose did not identify the palate. I'll be honest with you. We got two different directions we're going here. So the palate is rich. There's body to it. For Glenmorangie, this is a bit different. So let's get into the finish. Licorice. Boy, licorice, black licorice. It really coats. This is going to be a medium finish for sure. Really coating the mouth. You know, you're getting almost like there was some peat in this, but I know there is no peat in this. I'm certain there's no peat in it. But by golly, whatever is in those casks, you know, I mean, were they charred? You know, with the bourbon, because this was prepared in bourbon before it was finished in the Palo Cortado. Wow. You know, nosing this, I'm just going back. Actually, I'll go back to nosing it when I do the water, but you know, I've had a Amontillado finish. And actually, in all honesty, the nose is similar to an Amontillado finish. And I'm trying to think of which one it was, but I did have an Amontillado finish, and it'll come to me. I'll put it in the video. But that definitely was closer to the nose. This is closer to the Oloroso, but it has that mustiness and a bit of peaty stuff going on, a bit of woodiness to it. I'm going to stay with mustiness. I haven't quite got the right word, but that licorice really just came out of nowhere, you know, right when we got into the finish there. So let's add a little water, see what happens. And again, I'm 46% ABV. It is a heavier body to it than most of your, certainly heavier than let's say the 18. So, and I think I mentioned to you how Glenmorangie has been a canvas for you know, for wine and sherry port finishing. They've done a good job with that, and there's a few that are I don't appreciate as much as others, but this is on track. This guy's on track. You know, for the price and for what I'm getting here, I'm so far I'm getting some interesting stuff going on here. So we'll give it the old swirl. I just threw maybe it's 2 drops in here. I think I can handle 2 drops. We just want to open this up a bit, and I want to re-identify the nose because I think I've missed a few things in the nose here, but because the nose is not the palate. Yeah, boy, that is very close to that Amontillado finished. And I was it a Glen? It wasn't a Glenmorangie. What the heck was it? Darn it! It'll come to me. But I'm getting the caramel notes now, and the mustiness is still there with the caramel, and the cinnamon. Herbs, very herbal. Fennel, anise, and flowers. Oh man. When you go through Bouchard Gardens, which is internationally famous, and I go there at the time the roses bloom, I'm going to get a little bit of what I've got here. But it's not going to be the palate. Oh, the nose is just so much richer now, just in putting a couple drops of water in. Boy. Yeah, I could just stick with the nose for a while, but we're trying to shorten up these videos. Let's get into the palate. This is with water, the palate. Oh, rich. That licorice is still there. Fennel. And I'm going to stay with it could be charred barrels, but there's a slight bit of something there. We talked earlier about the dunnage. There's something woody going on. And the Oloroso is there. I'm not Palo Cortado. No, it's Oloroso I'm tasting now. It's not no Amontillado. There's no. This is Oloroso. So this is now getting a little closer to what I'm familiar with. It's got a dryness to it, and so the mouth is watering a bit. I do like this because it produces a lot of different layers, and you know, I've got the plums, stewed plums, the dark fruit. I've got some spice mixed in with that. I didn't get into my Manuka honey. I always seem to get into the Manuka when I get spicy, but I'm going to say spicy plums. That's what I'm getting. You know, somebody threw a bunch of spice at the stewed plums. And I'm going to say there's even some pepper and some tobacco going on here. We're going to top that one up. Stewed plums with lots of spices. I like that one. I'm going to stay with that one. You can come up with a zillion descriptors, but that one's perfect for this moment. Stewed plums and a bit of that white pepper with them. It's kind of like a sweet, spicy, and not a lot of bitterness to it. That's what's amazing. And I've read lots of reviews on this prior to. I mean, this is new to me. Don't get me wrong, but I research. I have to. I have to understand what you know, where I am, where I'm going with it. But I don't think everybody needs these casks, and the casks are getting more and more rare. And that's why I went after this, because the Palo Cortado are the most rare casks. It's the most rare of the sherry wines. I forget what the percent. It's a very small percentage. And if you're just a whiskey drinker and you like some intrigue, you like some, you know, a little bit more complexity than the 18, a little bit more body than the 18, go after this guy. They did a really good job on it. I think they're on track. Dr. Bill Lumsden is definitely I'm gonna. Is it a masterpiece? It's a great painting. It's a great canvas. So let's leave it at that, and we're going to call this one an 85er. I might have jumped above the 18, but I'm looking at the price. I'm looking at what you're getting and the enjoyment you're going to get out of this. Not every 18 is going to score above a 12. They should. But if you throw the price in, and I do, and I'm not critical, I think you have to pay more for an 18, but it's when it gets way up there. Now, if I was comparing these two, I paid less than 100 for this, I paid in the $170 range for this, I still will give this an 85. I think my second review, I creeped this up to 84, so it was a point less. But this has gone up to $235, the 18. So come on. Is this twice what this is? No, it's not. That's my logic. And you can have your logic, but I'm paying for this stuff. Nobody's giving it to me. When I do a review, I want to know I'm getting good value for my money. So, and I'm trying to send that message to you. This is a good whiskey. 85, I'm going to finish off with that. I'm recommending it. And I'm going to ask you to drink wisely, drink intelligently, and do not drink and drive. Until the next time, so long.